Control your narrative is not what you think it is. And we're going to tell you why. You have been warned. It's true, though. It's true. And
I agree with you.
Huh?
I agree with you.
Exactly. It's not. Wait, did you agree with me?
Hey. Breeze past it. Nothing happened.
Very well.
How many people do you know can survive a huge hammer being bashed on their head?
Bugs Bunny.
So
Don't
you
boo me, I'm right.
What in the Rick Boo is this? I have literal powers.
Screw you guys, I'm going home.
Yo, what is going on? This is Unbounded. Welcome again. This is a very special episode of Unbounded. This was not our usual time that we were scheduled for. We will be back on Friday evening, 7 p.m. But tonight is not about really the other issues that we'll be discussing on Friday. As you heard in the beginning of the video, Isaac told you that basically, if you look at the title as well, we're going to be talking about Control Your Narrative. Control Your Narrative is a brand new wrestling company started by EC3 and the former Braun Strowman, now known by his government name, Adam Scherr. And basically, they are, which I need to go throw this out there because I've seen a lot of these jokes being thrown around. This is not a contractual fed. So nobody is being signed to multi-year deals and blah, blah, blah. This is basically the mom and pop store of pro wrestling.
It's the dive bar of professional wrestling.
This is the store that's getting its start on in the strip. This is being moved by a few people with a cause. And for those who have been following this cause, which has been really spearheaded by one EC3,
AKA, or as he is known in the show, in Control Your Narrative, as the essential character.
And his whole motive has been basically at the conclusion of his time in WWE, his second run, I would add. For those who don't know, he was the former Derek Bateman in his first run. Basically, he decided to start this whole thing of controlling your narrative, which started off with Moose. Am I correct, Isaac?
You are correct. It started with Moose on the road to Bound for Glory 2020. So, Impact, we can all credit Impact Wrestling for this, because when it came, EC3, I'm saying Impact Wrestling exposed it to the wrestling world, essentially. Because in that build to that match they had, I wouldn't call it a match, but in the build to the confrontation that he and Moose had, it was all build. It showed him working out. It showed him walking the streets, basically giving you a definition about what control your narrative is. The first person he met was Moose. At the time, Moose was being world champion. He had resurrected the TNA World Heavyweight Championship belt, which the design for was terrible. Well, you know the belt I'm talking about.
Right.
He had brought it back. I wasn't too big of a fan of the design, but he resurrected it and started calling himself the TNA Heavyweight Champion, and he was fighting pretty much everybody who had ever been a world champion in Impact. that included Rhino, well, Hernandez, even though he wasn't world champion, but still Hernandez. It included Johnny Swinger, included all these people, right? And he would carry it and carry himself as a world champion, which he now is world champion, which makes this story so much better. So he had it, and then EC3, recently released EC3, who had gotten released like months earlier, shows up and basically just starts picking at Moose, telling him you have been warned. He steals the belt. He throws the belt off a bridge. And then they have their confrontation at Bound for Glory. And the whole time at Bound for Glory, Moose is just essentially dominating EC3 in said matchup. But the thing is, at the end of it, Moose, as he's wailing on EC3, he tells him, is this what he's telling him? Is this what you want? Is this what you wanted me to do? And then EC3 just explodes and says, yes, yes. And then everybody around him just starts chanting Moose, 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 Moose. And then EC3 stops him, and then he tells Moose, enjoy your narrative. Moose says thank you, and effectively knocks him out with the belt. But the thing is, he told him, enjoy your narrative. Which and then, now granted, Moose did go on to continue carrying the belt. And which led up to a couple things. First, it led up to the belt being reinstated, meaning that now, technically, Moose was world champion because he had the belt at the time, which led to him getting a unification match with Rich Swann, which he lost, unfortunately. So now, look at where he's at now. That was in 2020. Well, 2020, 2021. And now, we're in 2022, Slammiversary. Oh, no, 2021, Slammiversary. Well, no, Bound for Glory. I'm sorry. I'm all over the place. Bound for Glory 2021. Moose becomes number one contender. And then what happens? What happened at the end of Bound for Glory 2021? Tell me what happened.
That was when Moose won the title, right?
Exactly. A year later, from being told by EC3 to enjoy your narrative, he became world champion. Now, you're probably wondering, well, what was Moose's narrative? Why would he tell him to control your narrative? Because Moose's narrative was being that he was a world champion material. He was definitely world champion material. We all knew this. But he was using a prop, essentially, from the past to call himself a world champion, you know? And that's not, and EC3 is basically telling him, dude, that's not you. You can be world champion. You don't need to pretend to be one, because people are just going to call you a pretend world champion, you know, because they know this belt doesn't exist. Nobody recognizes this belt anymore, you know? So
I want to bring something back here, and it just hit me. It should have hit me a while ago. So you remember after EC3 got released in WWE?
Yes.
He started making those vignettes. He had the first one, I think he posted in front of the AEW sign. The next one was like in front of the Impact sign, Ring of Honor sign.
I think so, yeah.
I look at those and think of the rhetoric that he used then, and how the interest of what EC3 was doing at that time was hot. People were looking forward to what he had next. Now I look at what he's doing with Control Your Narrative. I look at, like you see it, I'm always retweeting that one quote, social media is a bubble of hive mind group thing. I'm always, if you see me on Twitter, I'm always, my Twitter handle sitting right there. Always, as soon as I see something that happens, it's right there. What is the difference between the rhetoric that he was using at the beginning of his after his release from WWE to now? Because I don't see the difference.
I don't see a difference either. I don't know.
So here's my issue with that, because now, which I understand, we everybody's hypersensitive about the 1-6 situation, about all these MAGAs and blase blahs, and throwing politics into a situation that has nothing to do with politics, which I'll get to in a second.
Yeah, we'll both get to that in a second because I got takes on that.
Why is it that now he's using the same rhetoric, and maybe that he has a few guys in there that people can assume are right wingers? Like, I can't confirm or deny that Aries is a conservative. Some of the things he talks about can come off conservative, but then at the same time, so does Joe Rogan, but he's a liberal. You can say with Cher, when he made that comment back at the beginning of the pandemic, it sounded very conservative-like, but you can't confirm or deny that the man is a conservative. Is there anybody right now that is associated with? I think the only one that I can really confirm may be a conservative right now that is associated with CYN is Flip.
Yes.
That's the only one right now. Flip Gordon is the only one that Flip Gordon just announced yesterday, the day before, that he's a part of CYN. He's going to be a CYN. And I think that show was this weekend.
I think I saw that image. Yeah, the first it's Saturday, actually.
Yeah, Saturday. And then congratulations to CYN on announcing their TV deal with the emerging PWTV.
Which I'm trying to figure out how to get that.
They haven't announced they're saying it's worldwide, but they haven't announced the channels yet for each different cable box, which is free. And like I said, I'm going to support you either way because I believe in giving things a chance. I enjoyed the first free narratives. I enjoyed the next one. So at that point, I'm saying, okay, cool. They have something going here. Maybe this is going to go in the route that Lucha Underground went.
That's what I'm saying. I'm hoping
maybe it is a Fight Club inspired Fed. I don't know.
I'm hoping for.
We try to see you check it out.
I'm hoping for like the way they shot their matches in the free your narrative specials. I'm hoping it's either that, because it's hard for me to see them post like live stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like with a crowd. Well, they have a crowd, but like with, announce. It doesn't seem like that's the kind of place where you're gonna have announcers. You know what I mean? Like a commentary team. It
feels more cinematic. So it's going to feel more like a movie.
And I'm all here for that. I'm here for like every episode of Control Your Narrative.
My thing is, and this is the thing that they've done well, if you could keep the story and keep me involved in the story, I can enjoy a cinematic wrestling match as long as I can follow the story going along with it.
Well, and mind you, the beauty of Free Your Narrative is it's not singular, Now, granted, in both of them, EC3 was the last person to fight, but I mean, and in both times, he didn't put himself over. I think he did against Cardona.
Yeah, anyway. he won against Cardona.
And
but
then
even with Cardona, you've seen how it felt like after that happened, his career just launched off like crazy.
Skyrocketed. He has 6 belts now.
He has 6 belts. He's the NWA World Champion,
which is
one of the most prestigious wrestling belts in all of pro wrestling.
And Cardona's got it. I think he's the absolute AIW champion. He's the digital media champion for Impact. He's got a lot of. He's a former GCW world champion.
You look at the ways he's made for GCW. GCW's hit a big boom period, and right. I believe that Matt Cardona has to take some of that credit. I'm not going to say it's all Matt Cardona because you got Mox there, but
I'll give it credit to 3 people. Mox, definitely the arrival of Mox. Mox showing up to confront Nick Gage at last year during WrestleMania week was one of them.
Yeah.
Matt Cardona showing up and just healing it up in there. Just healing it up, man. And then the emergence of Nick Gage after that Dark Side of the Ring.
The Nick Gage being shown the Dark Side of the Ring and Nick Gage being at Fight for the Fallen. Those 2 instances definitely help. And that's coming from a guy who doesn't really care for Nick Gage.
And the thing is, speaking on Nick Gage, he was already through the moon before that.
I mean, he's over in
GCW anyway.
Yeah, he has a very high cult following, but you put him in the eye of more of a mainstream audience, and then people are saying, "Okay, who is this guy?"
Yeah, like they did for 8. I mean, we were there. Not to get sidetracked on the actual subject, we were there. The place, including me, it's me. I'm the place. Went nuts. It went nuts for Nick Gage when he came out there. Now, granted, I would have liked to hear them play Metallica for them, the bell tolls, which is how he comes out and him enter through the crowd and like mosh pitting through the crowd. But they were on live TV; they couldn't do that. But the place went nuts. They were doing the intro because it's MDK all fucking day. Like our boy Matt that was sitting in front of us. He was going nuts,
I think everybody but me was going nuts.
Yes. Yes.
I was like the lone guy, just like, okay, that's just not my thing. Yeah, I'm just waiting for dark.
The thing is, speaking of which, we got to get back to North Carolina. I was thinking about that Cuzzo's Cuisine place.
I had it.
Is it still good? Does it still hold up?
Yes, it still holds up.
All right, great. We got to go back down there.
All $20 of it.
I know, it was so cheap. It was so cheap. We got to find.
No, it was not cheap. I spent $20 for myself.
Yeah, that's cheap for one person. Come on.
Maybe I'm Mr. Krabs in this situation. Then.
Think about how much food was in there too.
Fair enough.
Anyway, but like back on subject, like it escalated. Cardona is like through the roof right now. He's got 6 belts. Fuck Becky 2 belts. Fuck Roman 2 belts. You got Cardona 6 belts. You know what I mean? So I'll take that. And then the one I really had to focus on, because Control Your Narrative, the one he did, the Free Your Narrative, where the main event was Adam Scherr and EC3. The thing about that one was, if you watch the preview, I posted the video actually on Twitter that said, if you don't know what Control Your Narrative is about, watch this. It is basically him telling him, like, it's EC3 telling the former Braun Strowman that, look, you were in a place where you thought you were like the biggest attraction they had. And he was. But at the end of the day, you started to idolize your creator, i.e. Vince McMahon. You started to idolize him, and you started to do it. You were willing to do anything to, please your creator. But at the end of the day, your creator abandoned you. And in all likelihood, he did, because he released him, which nobody saw that coming.
Nobody saw it coming. And a lot of what EC3 was saying was they're absolutely correct. You start listening to some of the stuff that Strowman at the time was saying, that how Vince McMahon basically kept this man from killing himself.
Yes. He was EC3 was telling Adam, like, I know you worship this guy. I know you did everything you could to be looked at as this, perfect. You wanted to be perfect for him.
And the thing was, Strowman had appeal too.
He did. He was
Because
he was
I
so
can
good.
personally tell you that we watch wrestling. Breon will tell you we watch wrestling in the community lounge all the time, and it was like 3 of us that watch wrestling. 4 really that watch wrestling on the regular. But when Braun Strowman was on, other people turned around, and looked.
Yes. There are a couple things about Braun I didn't like. One of the things I didn't like, I thought that WrestleMania spot, him winning the tag titles with that 10-year-old, I thought that was stupid.
Nicholas.
Yeah, I thought that was dumb.
That was beautiful. It was bad but beautiful.
I thought it was dumb.
Yeah.
Then I thought about, well, that feud he had with Roman in 2017 was hot.
Oh, that was amazing.
My favorite moment is like, remember after he busted Roman's ribs up, right? And Roman was limping out of there. It was like coughing up blood and all that stuff.
I'm not finished with you.
He's sitting in the back of the ambulance, right? He's sitting in the ambulance. And then all of a sudden you just hear, I'm not finished with you. He plows through the ambulance door.
That joke was amazing.
I'm
going to have to go back and watch that now.
Plowed through the door. And then he came back. And then Roman slams the door against him like 3 times. That was hands down the best thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, he had some really good moments, but then again, like he said, you work for a big corp, and this is the thing I've been preaching the whole time when it comes to all these releases. I truly believe that Vince McMahon cares about a lot of the guys that have come in there. He's grown a heart for these guys and girls. You're right, and I truly believe that Vince McMahon loved Adam.
Yes, truly.
But at that time, something that my grandmother, rest in peace, she said, "There's no friends in business. When it comes down to business, feelings are gone."
I think,
and it's an unfortunate evil, but it is what it is.
To use a quote from The Godfather, that a lot of people keep forgetting, and I'm guilty of this too, especially when it comes to one of the other guys assigned to control your narrative that we're going to get to in a second. The quote is, "It's nothing personal. It's just strictly business." Yeah. And however, what EC3 was trying to get Adam to do in that video was not really to take it personally, but to realize that your creator is not who you think he is. You know what I mean? You may look at your creator in this light, but at the end of the day, your creator will let you down. And he did. And the last line of that video was so brilliant. He says, because let's face it, your creator only had one son. His name was Roman. I mean, and if you look where we're at now, he
is the Cena of this generation.
You look at him now. You look at how long he's been Universal Champion. You look who he beat to become Universal World Champion.
Dang. He did pin Strowman.
Yeah.
I mean, Bray was the champion at the time, but yeah, he pinned Strowman.
Yeah, I'm just
I mean, you're not wrong.
Just saying. So, but that video really sums it up. It sums it up. And then now let's transition.
Let's move to this one conspiracy theory.
Go ahead.
And we've talked about it quite a bit on the show. We kind of got into it a little bit when it came down to it. If you haven't seen the separate video, it is the most recent video that is dropped down in the YouTube video. Check that out. Got quite a few reactions from it. Thank you everybody that has hit me up on that. But the QAnon thing, the January 6th thing
was terrible.
These are horrible generalizations about this whole thing. One, like I said last Friday, the QAnon conspiracy is a political theory, and there has yet to be anything that has been said political. As a matter of fact, AC3 was on with Sean Ross Sapp yesterday, and said that there would be no political pundits involved with CYN.
None.
No conservative, no liberal.
He went down the line. He literally went down the line, Sean Ross Sapp, because I watched it. He went down the line of all the right wingers like Mike Lindell,
I don't know
Trump.
who that is. Trump.
Mike Lindell is the owner of MyPillow, is the MyPillow CEO who's always bumping for Trump. He's a fucking weirdo. You know,
didn't they throw Alex Jones in that list too?
Yeah, Alex Jones. They threw Sean Russell went down the list of all the right wing.
He went down to like the far right wingers,
not even.
He didn't even go relative. Down like the moderate, like moderate conservative. He was going extreme conservative.
And you know why he was doing that? Because that's who. Well, that's who a lot of the people are aligning them with based on the same rhetoric that has been used at the beginning of that video
of EC3's time away from WWE.
I first saw it with that video that him, EC3, Adam Scherr, and Killer Kross did, where they were pretty much speaking about how, you know, Control Your Narrative is going to have live shows and all that, which Killer Kross is going to be at the one on the 5th.
Yeah.
So
that's Saturday.
That's the Saturday. So they're going to be there. And I was like, and somebody said, this gives me January 6th vibes. And I sent it to you.
And I was like, how?
That's the same thing I said, because I was confused. I was utterly confused.
Nothing about stealing anything. Nothing about democracy. None of the buzzwords that we were hearing all throughout January 6th was being thrown in there.
Nothing.
So I was like, sir, how in the world can you sit here and just throw out January 6th? It's because they're all white? Yeah, but I'm going to go there.
So, all right, as much as I love these guys, I got to get on this because I was listening to it and it pissed me off. Woke culture. I know how you feel about woke culture, but I was listening to it, and I think this is the first time I disagree on certain takes that they have, but for the most part, they're correct. That's relative. But they were talking about the match T-Bar. They were talking about the match T-Bar had on Raw with Omos, and how he got squashed in 2 minutes. And somebody said, and their prediction was 2023, you're going to see T-Bar or Dijak on Control Your Narrative. And pretty much,
why is that a problem?
First of all, I'd be down for that, but they say it because it's all. And one thing I have to keep in mind that these guys live in the UK. They live in the UK, and they hate Tories, which is the Conservative Party in the UK.
I could tell just by I looked at Andy Murray's bio today. I was like, he's definitely a liberal.
Yeah, most of those guys over there are super liberal, which I mean,
it is what it is.
More power to them. But I was looking at this, and I'm like, okay, this is the first time we're listening to them talk about Control Your Narrative and how they're saying they were freaking out over the seasoning too a little bit. Murray wasn't freaking out about it, but he thought it was kind of like, I guess he was kind of poking at it.
So wait, because that Dijak, because I'm trying to. He's never struck me as a conservative in the first place.
Well, it's not. That's the thing. That is the thing. That is why it pissed me off. I said, this is not. It's like, does everybody think it's this way because they're all concerned because they appear to be conservative,
and that was my whole thing.
Here's the thing: they appear to be conservative. Why woke culture? Why people from woke culture? Why Public Enemies podcast? I don't mean to name drop them like that, but hey, it's already out there. Why these people think it's this way? It's because what have you seen? All male,
all white males,
all males, save for Moose, which.
And majority straight white males, except for Pero. But then also you got Marina.
That's why I was about to bring that up. You got Marina Shafir in there, which she had her little vignette at the very end of the last Control Your Narrative, Free the Narrative.
But again, we're talking about people who haven't watched this stuff yet. So these are people that read headlines and don't click on the story to read what's going on and then overreact.
Here's all right. I'm going to do this later, like towards the end, as like a conclusion, but I want to get this right now. This is a simple concept. Control your narrative is not hard of a concept. It's not. It's to me. Now, I don't know what control your narrative means, Anthony, but to me, it is basically I see EC3 taking different people who have been outcast from where they were, stunted by their own issues, or not achieving their potential. I see him bringing in these people and basically telling them there are headlines about you. The headlines, whatever the headlines say about you, doesn't have to be what it is.
Right.
Because for Moose, like I said, for Moose, it was your world champion material, but you carrying a fake world title is not becoming. It's unbecoming of what you can be.
Yeah. And I think it goes deeper than that for Moose as well.
Yes.
Because you see a lot of people bringing up his past. I mean, we all know that Moose played in the NFL. And he had a DV incident when he was playing for the Falcons. This is about a decade ago, and people are still bringing it up to this day. And it was like, all right, dude, it happened.
I saw a tweet of his when he won the grand championship from Drew McIntyre. And he retweeted, I don't recognize that fat guy. I don't know who that fat guy is. He basically hit him with the dream has no memory of that.
He saw the best in me when everyone else turned around. He went Marvin Sapp on everybody.
Basically. That is literally what EC3 has done. EC3 has basically gone Marvin Sapp on the professional wrestling. He's gone Marvin Sapp on professional wrestling.
He saw the best in me when everyone else wrong. Only saw the worst.
Only see the worst.
And that's what I'm seeing right now. Like, do I agree with everything that Austin has said? No. But I pulled this up because I remember that Sean was talking about it in the podcast.
Yes.
So it's hilarious how it all came along because I was talking about how
Sean I know exactly where you're going. Sapp
said they was talking about that because EC3 said I had never blocked anybody, and Sean says he was speaking sarcastically. So I'm gonna let him have it.
Fair enough.
The funny part about that whole thing is all I said was SRS. I didn't tag him, and the two people that responded to my tweet are blocked by Sapp. So I'm like, one, I don't follow Sapp. I don't follow Fightful. How the heck did he find this quickly? So I was like, it's whatever. I'm not going to cause any issue here. I'm going to take this to my advantage. So he was talking about there was a tweet that Austin Aries had put out that kind of sparked a argument between him and Sapp. And so I confirmed with Sapp that this is he said this is one of the many tweets that kind of sparked their big beef. So I personally know of more people who have died after taking the COVID than I did this entire pandemic from getting the virus itself. But don't expect the MSM to report or correlate the deaths to taking the jab truthfully or accurately. We are being deceived. Everybody kind of blew this out of proportion. I had to go back and see what I said. And I said that maybe it's true. Maybe it's not. I don't know. Because if you look at this tweet again, do you see where he said that it is that the vax is killing people more than COVID itself? Or is he saying that, and from his own experience?
That's definitely a perspective tweet.
It's a perspective tweet. So at that point, I was like, I'm not really going to bash him over his head and try to invalidate his opinion. Because at that point, isn't that basically gaslighting? So people are basically gaslighting what his perspective is, but then somebody gaslights them. They're the first ones to cry about being gaslit. So, like I said, I'm not going to tell him that, oh, your what you're saying is invalid or anything of that sort. But I have no horses in that battle because I don't know who he knows. And at that point, I didn't know anybody that had died of either the vaccine or COVID at the time of that tweet. So I said myself, I was like, personally, I don't know anybody that's died of either yet. I mean, at that point, I had already had it. It was well after. Let me double check again because I want to say that was around the time that I had just finished because I finally got I found my set. This is 21. Yep, I had already had it and beat it because I wouldn't have got tested on 1/6 because I remember taking the test while watching everything like just go crazy. So, so again, can we assume that Austin Aries is problematic?
Yes.
So cool. We're going to say that.
Problematic from a professional wrestling standpoint because like I said, we talked about it before we were on the air. The one thing that I thought, now mind you, here's something y'all have to keep in mind: we're not pro wrestlers, but we can see unprofessionalism when you see it. Yeah. And I thought that what happened at Bound for Glory, because I watched it live and I couldn't believe it happened.
Yeah, that was bad, ridiculous.
Yeah, I thought it was really bad. I thought it was bad, not just for him, but it made the whole company look like a bunch of freaking a-holes, like they didn't know what they were doing. So
can you find me that tweet, Jamie, so I can see exactly what he was saying?
Yeah. But
like I said, he has a lot of wild takes out there.
But the thing is, I definitely think, because like I said, EC3 said in the podcast that he was in Mexico. Aries. He went to Mexico and took time off in Mexico or whatever. And then he came back and honestly, maybe this is the perfect place. Maybe it's a way for Austin to get his side out there.
Yeah.
And all of its problematics. Maybe there's something different. Maybe.
And maybe he's going to do this one, and if things don't go right, then he won't be back. Maybe. Now I know a lot of people, and I don't know too much about Flip, so I can't really speak too much on him because evidently he has a lot of heavy conservative views, and that was another name that they threw along with the QAnon conspiracy theories, which I haven't seen it, and if that was the case, he's still hanging out with the Bucks.
Well, he was on BTE.
Yeah, I saw that because I had to go and see what Flip had been up to because I haven't. Again, I think I've seen like one match that had Flip Gordon in it, and I wasn't looking for Flip Gordon.
Yeah.
But here's my issue with that whole thing. So we're going to say that Aries is problematic.
Yeah.
Can you name me a company right now that does not have a problematic wrestler in it?
No. I'd say maybe Impact, but I'm trying to think of anybody.
Moose is kind of in that problematic range, depending on who you ask. Depending on who you ask with Tasha, I guess.
I guess Gallows.
Tasha
not Gallows. Like Anderson, Carl Anderson.
Anderson's definitely in that one, especially when he's drunk.
Yeah.
Who else is over there? So again, I can't think of a single company. AEW, they have Darby. They have Justin Roberts.
You got Sammy. Although
Sammy, yeah, we would throw Sammy in there.
He's kind of turned. He's kind of turned the corner, I guess.
I guess. I mean, he was young and dumb. I give him that. He was stupid. He was stupid. So hopefully he's on the right path. I'm not even going to sit here and destroy him in time like the rest of the internet is. That's ridiculous. WWE, we already know they have Theory, they have Riddle. Who else?
They had Dream.
What they let Dream go, but they have what is his name? He was Cruiserweight champion, UK guy.
Ligero.
No, Ligero. They've been wild. Ligero.
Devlin.
Yeah, I was about to say Finn Balor, but yeah, little Finn Balor, Jordan Devlin.
Yo, that still frustrates me. I'm sorry. Here, I got to get back on this. It is frustrating to me. It really. It makes me sad that I was watching a David Starr match, the match he had with Joey Janela at American Honor in 2019, and I thought like, wow, we really almost had David Starr versus Jon Moxley, you know, and then Speaking Out happened, which it should have, you know, but I think it's really, really kind of blatantly fucked up that some got to stay and some didn't. You know?
Yeah.
So that's all I'm gonna say about that.
I need to Jamie, based on what I'm seeing here, I need to see how he compared them. They're two totally different things. Both can be deadly, but Jamie, we're gonna save the Kane stuff on for Friday. We're focusing. We're solely on Control Your Narrative. We'll get to the Cain Velasquez stuff Friday.
Speaking of which, this is what the main thing that's frustrating me about this whole thing is, like I said before, it's a really simple concept.
Yeah.
This is not a hard concept. It's not rocket science. What he is doing, and I know I said it before, what he is doing is telling people to control whatever story there is and make it your own and push that narrative. So in Austin Aries' case, the problematic stories that are coming about him, this is his chance to take that, turn it, and push it into
what he wants it to be.
What he wants it to be. Same thing with Fodder. Same thing with John Skyler. Same thing with Pero.
And Fodder is kind of just in a situation where he's just has been attacked based on just being there. Like
same
he
thing
was
with,
attacked
Blake.
Fodder's having a match with Gunner in a few weeks.
Yeah.
And people attacked him for that. I was like, yo, this man is out here trying to make money. Y'all trying to say, oh, don't wrestle this guy because he doesn't like BLM. I just told y'all how I feel about dealing with people who may not like me as a person. If we got to work together, I don't care if you like me or not. Let's get this done. We're going to make this money and we're going to go home. You can hate me then. But right now, we working. And I'm pretty sure that's the same way Fodder goes about it.
Same. That's how I think Pero goes about it.
Right. And EC3 even said they are LGBTQIA plus friendly, but they're not making that their identity. They're not trying to pander to any group, which I'm like, cool. You be you. We're not going to push any type of agendas except for the agenda that we're pushing for ourselves.
Right.
The only agenda we have here is be you.
That is the one thing. Like, here's the thing. And one thing he said at Final Battle, they only have one rule. One rule. It's Fight Club inspired, but they only have one rule. If you want to control your narrative, or if you want to free your narrative, you have to fight.
Yeah.
It's an open door. They said open door policy. Come in, talk to him. If you want in, you can be there. It doesn't matter. You know what I mean?
Now, there are some names that he said that he.
Yes, he did say there are some people that
Alberto is not going to be there. Evidently, Dream won't be allowed.
Yeah. So no bookers. The thing I love that there's no bookers.
Right.
So
CYN can be viewed on Pro Wrestling Television. They have not announced the channels for all different cable boxes yet.
He did say he'd be open to a GCW collaboration.
Which, I mean, he said for the most part, he'd be open to collaborate with companies. Now, we know that WWE is probably not going to be in that name because WWE probably won't collaborate with them. But if there will ever be a chance that WWE say, hey, let's do something with these guys, which is highly unlikely, I'm pretty sure he wouldn't say no.
Right. And then, all right, let's get to another person who appeared and people lost their minds over. Killer Kross. He is announced for Control Your Narrative.
So what is he hit on Killer Kross at this point?
All right, so
is it because he's unvaxxed?
Look, I don't know what the hit is, but I know what I like about him. You know what I liked about Killer Kross when I met him? Not just because he was imposing and very, very threatening. He was. I told him this to his face. I have a lot of respect for you because of how genuine you are.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like what he is outside the ring. You know, I know he's like, you know, he's way chill outside the ring, but like, there's no difference between the two. You know, like how he is on screen is like, yeah, that's legit. That's a legit person. You know, I know they're all legit people, but I'm saying like, you know, it's like he's not playing a character. He's just himself. And who is he himself? It's a guy who can be really dangerous. You know, because I think about that video. I had a feeling, even when he first got released, somebody did fan art of him going to Free Your Narrative. And I was like, I'm all 100% for that. And then I watched that video, that 15-minute video, the funeral of Potikim Village. You know, I watched that video and I'm like, see, this is the he was already doing that. Honestly, him joining Control Your Narrative was like destined because he was already doing stuff like that before. He was always making vignettes like that anyway, telling people to, you know, well, not necessarily control your narrative, but like, you know, hey, yo, society's weird. Society wants to push things on you, push agendas on you that you necessarily don't have to live up to. You know? They ask, and now he's referencing his old gimmick of carrying Kross by like saying, you know, they want you to, you know, fall and pray. You know? And that's not what it is, you know?
Right.
I don't get the hate. Maybe it's because it's unvaxxed. Maybe it's because, you know, he's liked a few tweets. And here's the thing. Some of the tweets I've seen he's liked, they're not even, like, wild. They're not even some wild shit. You know what I mean?
And I've tried to find anything.
It's like he's like the conservative tweets that, like, you like. That are from, like, the moderates or whatever.
Because I'm a moderate.
No, I know, but I'm saying that's the kind of, you know what I mean? You know, he's not.
Yeah, he's not out here Lauren Boebert or anything like that.
No, which don't get me started on that. But like,
if you want to talk about it, we'll do it Friday. If not, we don't have to talk about it.
But they're not doing that, or they're not. He's not on that kind of stuff. None of them are. You know, which is so wild to me. I don't know where people got political on this. I don't know where.
I think it's just easy now to throw these tags at people that maybe make you feel uncomfortable. Maybe what you're seeing is make you feel uncomfortable. So you see all these straight white men, and you're gonna say, "Oh, this must be some type of MAGA January 6th foolishness." And I think that goes for if you want to take it down that aisle, you can kind of use that on both sides of the spectrum. You start seeing that, oh, it's some black people, and they start doing stuff of the similar length. somebody that feels uncomfortable may throw out CRT or blah, blah, blah. So I think it's just a coping mechanism that we as humans may have, that when we feel uncomfortable about something, we just already just tack it up to being something that we don't like anyway. So you start seeing that, oh, it's some MAGA QAnon January 6th stuff just because it's you associate what you're seeing
Straight white men
immediately with MAGA. When, again, like I said, outside of maybe Flip Gordon, I haven't seen too much political with anybody.
Right. And look, like I said, some of the opinions they have are whatever. But honestly, I think control your narrative is definitely what pro wrestling needs.
Yeah, I agree.
Because it needs a place where people can come and they can rewrite their story. Because it's rewritten stories, that's for sure. Moose is world champion right now. Cardona, world champion right now.
And like we said before, you don't know whose career is going to take off because we've already seen it with Moose and Cardona.
John Skyler.
Maybe Adam Scherr's. This is Adam Scherr's moment. Who knows?
I never even heard of John Skyler until I saw him on Free Your Narrative. You know where he is now? He's wrestling on Impact.
I mean, there's a lot of guys that are, and that's the thing I've been saying the whole time. The more wrestling companies there are, the more places people have to work. So what's the issue?
Right.
Like,
if we love pro wrestling, if we love pro wrestling as much as we say we do. Oh, Blake. What's his name? Wesley Blake. The former Wesley Blake.
Weston Blake now.
Weston Blake. You know what I mean? You know, I even saw Matt Sydal there. Matt Sydal fought Moose in the first Free Narrative.
I think he's it. Another name, former Ring of Honor champion as well. And I can't think of his name right now.
Matt Taven. So I was going to bring that up too. Matt Taven.
I didn't know he was in this. I was listening to Cornette and Last talk about it, and they would have want to show me that he was in it.
Yeah, Matt Taven was in the second one. He fought I forgot the dude's name, but the dude with the drinking problem who was at the bar. You know, he fought that dude. And that dude's issue was because Matt was fighting him because he remembers when this guy wasn't doing that, you know, like when he was better, you know, he had 2.0 there, you know, up in the crowd, like a commentary team, which I think that's the perfect thing. You know what I mean? If anything, you have because think about it, after every match or every fight, they had those guys up there commentating, which I think that's, if you're going to have anything like a commentary team, you need something like that. You know, need somebody like sitting at a bar or sitting in a corner, you know. But definitely the format of this, you either do it like Lucha Underground, where everything backstage is cinematic, and then everything you have like a live shot in the crowd, or it's like the way they shoot it in the specials. You have a crowd. You do have a crowd. You have the ring. Maybe you have people cut promos beforehand. You have the narrator. You know what I mean? However, don't have the narrator narrating over the match itself. Well, I don't know, because that kind of worked for me. It kind of worked and kind of missed at the same time. I guess at certain points he can talk. You know what I mean?
It's gonna be an interesting thing because again, this is an approach that hasn't really been taken in pro wrestling. So,
well, since Lucha, we haven't seen something like this since Lucha Underground,
right? And I don't think it's a completely
something with this
Lucha
much
Underground.
potential anyway. We haven't seen something with this much potential since Lucha Underground,
right?
You know, which, man, Lucha Underground, that was great. That was great.
But yeah, man, I don't know what else to say about it. It's just,
it's not hard. Like it's not hard. I was seriously going to get up here and define, like, you know, what control, purpose, and freedom are. In fact, I'm going to do that because I don't think people understand those are three principles of it. Control. The Google definition of control is, oh, no, it's not a video game.
You're not talking about the song, are you?
No.
Okay.
No, I'm not talking about that Fire song with Big Sean, Kendrick, and Jay Electronica.
Oh no! I was talking about these other song, Control, not the one that set the hip hop world on fire.
It did. Shame that never got released on Hall of Fame.
I was talking about Janet Jackson's Control.
Oh no, it's not about. So, control, according to the Merriam-Webster Dictionary, control is to exercise restraining or restraining or directing influence over, to have power over, to reduce the incidence or severity of especially to innocuous levels, to incorporate suitable controls in, or this one, B, to have power over. That's control. Freedom. The definition of freedom is, according to the Oxford language, the power to act or speak or think as one wants to without hindrance or restraint. The state of not being imprisoned or enslaved. Freedom. And then purpose. Oh boy. Purpose, the reason for which something is done or created, for which something exists. Have as one's intention or objective. That's a verb. But now, the reason for something for which something is done or created, for which something exists. So control, purpose, freedom. You're controlling, you're gaining control your narrative. You're gaining power over the original story of your original timeline and turning it into your own timeline.
Yeah.
Freedom. You're gaining freedom from the old timeline that was created for you. Purpose. Now you are going to act on this. And now with this new timeline, you're going to take it to whatever level you want to.
Which we've seen to come to fruition.
We have Moose wanting to be world champion. World champion.
Cardona. World champion.
Well, other thing about Cardona is not just world champion. He was somebody who got himself over in WWE. It was deemed,
but he was never deemed. He was never seen in the
worthy.
light.
He was never worthy. He was never deemed worthy.
Because I remember all that. I was one of the ones that was hot for. I was a broski. But funny thing is, I think I told the story before. This is how I met Billy Dixon. I met Billy Dixon through talking about Z True Long Island story. I don't know. That's how we became friends. I met him through 91X, but we became cool just by talking about Z True Long Island story.
And then, like I said, and now look at him, world champion. Marina Shafir, I'm looking forward to see. John Skyler, unheard of. I'm serious. I didn't know who John Skyler was. And then now I see him every week on Impact. Every week. So we say all that to say that for those of you throwing out the political takes of this, guess what? I know not a lot of people like to be told this, but you're wrong. I know it's kind of fair to call you wrong, but
no, you're wrong.
You're wrong. You're wrong. You're wrong. Take out your Metro card and get on the L train because you're wrong. Because it's not what you think. It's not what you think it is. All this narrative that you're creating for Control Your Narrative, it's not it. It's not it.
It's not it, Chief.
It's not it. I mean, you could, and if you have any issues, feel free to look it up yourself. Although we're living in an era where people just got to say, hey, what I said, even if what you said is wrong. We're not making this up.
I'm looking forward to Saturday.
Like, go watch the video. Me too. Go watch the video. EC3 coming from his own mouth. with Sean Ross Sapp. You can think of Sean Ross Sapp you want, but at least listen to EC3, what he's got to say.
I don't care for a lot of things Sean Ross Sapp says, but I appreciate I appreciate Sean putting that out there for free for people to actually listen to what is coming from Cardona. I appreciate. I will say I appreciate that, Sean.
Yeah. You know, the fact he put it out there is amazing. Like for your narrative. Oh, we forgot about Percy Watson. I don't know what he's going by now, but he's in it too. Remember? He was a dude cutting promos with the bullhorn.
You're right.
I forgot we.
So that's two black people.
On top of that, I'm curious. Remember how at the end they kicked that one dude out? Remember?
I gotta go back and see, but yeah.
I know. But yeah, and he met Percy on the side of the street, on the street corner, and they said, "Yo, let's team up to take down the essential character."
So we're gonna see. Maybe he's gonna be involved.
Maybe. But we're gonna find out, aren't we, on Saturday?
But it's gonna be interesting. I'm looking forward to seeing if they have some video of the VIP room, because I think that should be interesting to see as well.
Of like who's in it? You mean like the
because the announcement of the VIP room is going to be happening in the VIP room, where the fan gets, I think it was like 3 minutes to just berate whoever
on Control Your Narrative.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
You didn't see that? Hold on, let me go find it, because the EC3 saw it. I saw the EC3's page, and he confirmed it on in his interview with Sapp.
You say you're gonna get in there and cut a promo on whoever?
Yeah, hold on, let me find it again.
He also said Tessa Blanchard's not gonna. Well, not that she's not gonna be involved. She hasn't reached out to him. So
yeah, they somebody asked about Tessa and Daga. Hold on, let me see. Maybe it's on his Twitter, but he confirmed it on up there last night. Once again, they will be on PWTV.
Yeah,
more
Saturday.
Information. Here it is. This was 2 days ago. Plus, just added as I type this, VIPs get entry into the Control Your Narrative rant room. In the rant room, you have 3 minutes to yell and scream and berate your least favorite wrestler with 0 consequences. They will sit there and take it, lose the keyboard, and let it rip.
Wait, they would sit there and take. So are these people going to be in the same room?
Yes. You get to sit there, look directly. So people who don't like Austin and everything that he has said about the COVID vaccine and anything, period, you can go to Adam and go talk about what he said back in 2020.
Yeah, about independent wrestlers.
Yeah.
If you don't like Killer Cross for some reason, which it's so confusing. Like
I don't know, but whatever it is,
whatever issue you got with Killer Cross,
opportunity to do this, but say it in their face.
I'm willing to bet there's not going to be as many people as we think.
Because it's easier to berate somebody behind a keyboard.
So, and
it's
mind
so
you,
easy.
Now, granted, it's in Orlando, so and mind you, Florida. A lot of people in Florida don't care, but at the same time, like I said, I've been in the same room as Killer Cross. I watched him walk across the room. He is by no means a small person.
Oh no, but you got to remember, it is going to be kind of a heavy concentration of wrestling fans in Orlando this weekend.
But I'm saying, but my point is, you know what I mean? I still see him. You see the picture I have with him.
Yeah, he's menacing.
He is very menacing. Okay, so if I had the opportunity, not that I would get in there. If anything, I would do the exact opposite because this is me. You know,
I'd probably go in on like Austin.
I'd probably wait. Can they say anything back?
No, they have to take it.
Do you have to take it, man? No, because if anything, I like to pick his brain about certain stuff. You know what I mean?
I would like to actually sit down in Austin Aries just to this is one of those things where, again, this is a guy that has that people say has extreme takes.
Right.
And I would like to actually sit down and say why.
Yeah.
People like that, I want to know why they think that way.
Right.
Because if I know why you think that way, again, going back to Friday, I'm able to operate around you a lot more. People that I know why they talk why they think the way they do, I can easily discuss things and know how to not get myself into that situation.
However, the one thing I will say probably not even go in, just say, like, I thought what you did at Bound for Glory 2018 was unprofessional.
Yeah.
I will say that. That's the one thing. Other than that, like, I mean,
has he ever had somebody stop actually throw him that question?
About that?
Yeah.
Not that I know of.
I'm gonna try to do some research.
Plus, I would love to go to it, but it's in Florida, and I'm not going to Florida because there's Nazis there.
Hey, I go to Florida all the time, and I be in the country.
Like, yeah, so never mind. Anyway, that's all
I got, dog.
Yeah.
So with that being said, I'm watching Couture Narrative.
Same.
And if
I
you
feel
don't
like it's definitely one of those things. It's definitely one of those things you don't want to miss.
Like, so I'm watching because
it's like the first episode of Lucha Underground. It's like the first episode of Lucha Underground. Like, could be something really great.
Like he said, this could be a big success, or it could be a massive failure.
A dumpster fire.
Guess what? My respect goes out to him for trying. Some of y'all on the internet say a lot of stuff, but won't put your money where your mouth is. Mm-hmm. I mean, shout out to Java Series Podcast, because they've been in this position where they booked the show. And so people like that, I have a lot of respect for, because they know that this stuff isn't easy. So again, big props out to EC3 and Adam. Jobber Slam.
Oh.
Their main event for that show was Tasha Steelz versus Big Swole.
I think I heard about that. I think I saw it, actually. So it's good.
So that's all I got, man. We're going to get up out of here. Stay tuned. Friday night. I don't know what we're going to talk about. I think we should talk about the USFL for a little bit Friday.
Yeah. Also, tune in to Saturday if you enjoy FIFA.
Yes, FIFA Saturday. We got some content coming out this week.
Yeah.
Friday, the podcast. Saturday, FIFA, me versus Isaac. I'm about to give Isaac this work. I said what I said.
He must not have seen the shirt I got.
I said what I said.
Let me go get the shirt. So y'all not surprised.
Let me go get the shirt. And I haven't played since that day. I sent you the picture.
Look at that. This.
I don't need a shirt. I'm just gonna beat you. I don't care. You can have your Barca shirt. I'm going to come down.
Okay, what you're not going to do, you're not going to say it wrong. That's an accent, by the way. It's Barca. It's Barca, you uncultured swine.
I may be an uncultured swine, but you are toast.
We will see.
I'm going to pump you up.
Did you really? Where have I heard it?
Little Giants.
Oh, wow. Well, mind you, I hated that movie because the Cowboys lost, so.
Such a fanboy.
Yeah, I don't care.
That movie's goated.
We do not care.
You know what? I think what we should do, because I sent you a tweet yesterday, the other day. Look up some sports interviews.
Oh, that sound like promos?
Yeah, we'll talk some.
I'm probably gonna send you a lot of Connor stuff.
We're gonna try to use less combat because combat sports is so easy to get to.
Yeah.
That's too easy.
I do think he did a couple of the greatest promos. Like, I'd like to take this time to apologize to absolutely nobody. The double champ does what the fuck he wants.
Yeah, he's that's way too easy.
Great promo.
So I already got at least 2 right now. So I'm going to be looking into some more. We'll see how that goes. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to get out of here. Peace, love, and Pop-Tarts. Go watch AEW in like 12 minutes.
Yeah.
Deuces.
Peace.